What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be reviewing the game Heroscape, Rise of the Valkyrie. This particular version of the game came out in 2004 and it is for 2 or more players. Now this is a game that is called a battle and build system, and basically what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to build a battlefield with various different types of terrain tiles and different types of things like buildings and castles and trees if you have the expanded sets. And then you've got a bunch of these little miniatures that you're going to be using to battle with. And there's all different types of miniatures in this game, each that have special abilities and each that have different movement rules and weaponry. Quite cool. So let me go ahead and show you this game. Okay, everybody, let's get right into it. I'm going to be doing more of an overview as opposed to doing like a detailed rule by rule type of a list, but we'll go ahead and show you the game. Right here we have what are called a bunch of terrain tiles. The base set comes with a lot of these, and there's a few different types as far as size. You've got these really large ones over here that are, and you've got some that are grouped in 3, some that are grouped in 2, some are grouped in 1, some that are grouped in, I believe this is 9. But anyway, you can basically use these terrain tiles to build your own battlefield. This right here is water. And you can build it however you would like to, or if you want, this is what me and my wife do. This has a battlefield and game booklet, and in here they have like some different ways you can build the battlefield with some different stories, different rules. One thing you can do is you can set the winning conditions, of course. With the game that my wife and I are playing right now, the winning condition is we are trying to get this cube from the opponents. I think this is some kind of electronic device or something from the booklet, but that's basically what we're trying to do. This is kind of like capture the flag. Of course, there's others where you're trying to kill off all of your opponents. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can build this however you would like to. And of course, with the different master sets that you can get in the expansions, you can make this battlefield huge. So right here, as far as the Valkyrie game goes, this is just like a little ruin over here. There's one there and there's one there. And as far as the creatures go in this game, there are 30 miniatures that are in this game. And I'll go ahead and show you some of them. Some of them are already here on the board. This is the dragon. Right here you've got some army men, you've got an army sergeant over there, you've got some aliens over here, you've got like some Men in Black type characters over here, you have what are called Zeeshan guards, I believe that's how it's pronounced. And those are some of the creatures, and here's some of the other ones that are in the game that are not on the board. You've got Viking champion, you've got Viking warriors. Now some of these are actually in a group. The Viking warriors come with 4, and so anytime you decide to move the warriors, you're going to basically move all 4 of them on your turn. Here's a Viking champion. Here is a Grimnack. This is like a dinosaur of sorts with a warrior on top of it. This is Deathwalker 9000. This is the Isuzu Samurai, Agent Carr, Nigaksa, I believe it is. And then you have Raylan, the Kyrie warrior, and he flies. So a bunch of different types of characters in this game. And I'll go ahead and just give you the lowdown as to what's on these cards. Right here, it has the height of the character, which in this case is a 5. And what the height basically is going to do is it's going to tell you how high you're going to be able to climb up these cliffs over here. This is the life points that this character has. If he gets hit 5 times, he's going to die. This is how many spaces he's going to be allowed to move. And when he moves, it'd be like him going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if he's deciding to climb up a ridge, so long as he is tall enough, he's going to count each of those as a movement. So for example, let's just say I had this guy. This guy is about as tall as this, so he would be able to climb up it, and he would just simply go 1, 2, 3, and then on 4, he would go up the cliff like that. Now when it comes to moving in water, your movement is going to stop as soon as you hit water. So if you were to go like 1 and then 2, you would stop there. When you were to get out of the water, you would count this as 1 and then count this as 2. Now, you can also fall in the water like so. You can just simply go and fall in the water like that and it's not going to hurt you. Now, if you fall off of a cliff, so long as you're as tall as the cliff itself, it's not going to hurt you. But if you end up dropping from a height that is greater than what your height is, then you're going to have to roll some of these dice over here. and these are basically attack dice, but they also count as dice that you would roll anytime you fall off the cliff. If you were to end up falling off the cliff and you ended up rolling a skull, you will go ahead and take 1 damage. But depending on how high it is, you might take more. Here we have what is called range. This basically tells you how far his weapon will be able to go. If it says 1 range, this basically means he's going to have to be adjacent to the character. But certain characters have like guns, and the dragon has things like fire. So for that, here's an example. This person has a range of 4, so he would be able to attack somebody that is 4 spaces away, so long as he was able to see him, and I'll talk about that later. If he ends up attacking somebody, he is going to use this many dice, and anytime he ends up rolling a skull with those dice, that is going to hit his opponent. Now, his opponent is going to have an opportunity to roll shields for defense, and this will tell you how many defense dice that he will be able to roll when he gets hit. And again, if he ends up rolling a shield, that is going to negate 1 hit that was taken from the attack. Also, each of these cards has a point value on them, and depending on the game that you are playing, you will receive that many points if you are able to kill off this character. These characters have are what are called special abilities or special attacks, and you can use these on your turn. Here's one that says Ghost Walk. That says Agent Carr can move through all figures. So this basically means you will be able to move over your opponents with this ability. Typically, you're not going to be able to do that because you have to fight them. Here's another one called Sword of Reckoning. It says if Agent Carr is attacking an adjacent figure, add 4 dice to Agent Carr's attack. So that will add 4 dice to his attack. Here's another one that says Disengage. Agent Carr is never attacked when leaving an engagement. Now, basically what that means is if there is a fight going on between 2 characters and someone is trying to either get away, stop the fight and run, or if someone gets adjacent to 2 players that are fighting, that person is going to actually get a chance to swipe at the person that is either running from the attack or has gotten next to the attack. Essentially, if an opponent is trying to disengage from the fight or happens to get into a space adjacent to the attacker will be able to take a swipe at him. What he'll do is he'll roll 1 attack die, and if he ends up getting a skull, that person who is adjacent to him or trying to disengage will take 1 hit of damage. Each of these characters have different abilities. There's a bunch. One thing that the soldiers have is they have an ability to throw a grenade, and what that will do is you'll be able to throw it 5 spaces away. You can throw it over walls, and it also has a certain height that you can throw them up at. So if I wanted to, say, attack the dragon over here, I could lob grenades, and that can help do a lot of damage. So each of these characters has a different ability. Here we have what are called glyphs. This game comes with quite a few of these, and what you're going to do is you're just going to place them on the board face down, and anytime a character lands on the glyph, he will turn it face up, and in this case this is defense +1. The glyph is going to stay on that spot, but anytime a character lands on the glyph, he will receive that ability so long as he is standing on it. There's several different types. There's an attack +1. There's also one that's a healer, to where if you land on it, you will end up being healed from all of your hit points. But again, there are several of these in the game. Okay, so let's just go ahead and talk about what happens on a turn. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and place what are called numbered markers on each of the characters. They're numbered 1 through 3, and you also have one that is an X. If you place, and you're going to place them here on these different cards over here, which represent the different characters here on the board. What's going to happen is this is going to be the order that you're going to be attacking with. So, for example, if you ended up putting the number 1 here on Sylvanas, which is this character right here with the arrow, whenever it is your turn, you're going to attack with him first, and then number 2, if you placed it on the Airborne Elite, they would attack next, and so on and so forth. Now, the one with the X is not going to attack. This is basically used to bluff your opponents. So anyway, after both players do that with their numbered little guard things, they're going to go ahead and roll this die, and what they're going to do is they're going to roll for initiative. Basically what that means is whoever rolls the highest number is going to go ahead and start. So let's just say this guy rolled a 19, this guy rolled a 5, so this guy would end up starting. So for example, let's just go ahead and say that I place number 1 here on the Zishan guard. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move up to 4 spaces. So right now the Zishan guards are here in the water, so what I would do is I would just simply go 1, then 2, and if I want to go up here I would go 3 and then 4. So let's just say I happen to move over here. and I want to go ahead and attack this guy. Now there's two ways I can do it. I can either get next to him and do a battle that way, and basically what we'll do is we'll just roll the attack. I'll roll my attack dice and he'll roll dice for defense. So what I'll typically do is I will just simply put this hit token on the card over here on top of the person that got hit, since all three of the agents are right over here. Or you can put the token on top of the base. Either way. But that's basically one way that you can get attacked. Now another way, this guy has an ability to shoot a gun with a range of 7, so he'll be able to shoot up to 7 spaces ahead, so long as he is able to see this person. So since this person is 3 spaces away, he'll be able to try to shoot him, and basically the same rule applies. The guard will roll, and then for attack, and then this guy will roll for defense. Now there's also a thing known as height advantage, and basically what this means is let's say this character was up a ledge on the ledge like this, and he wanted to fight this guy. He is up 1 level higher than him, so in this case this guy is going to roll an extra attack die. Now since he's up here, he would be able to do the same thing, and if the more levels up he is, I believe it's 10 levels, he'd be able to roll an extra die on top of that if he's 10 levels or higher. Now they will not be engaged if it turns out that the cliff is not high enough for this guy to see over. This will not make them engage, but something like this would make them engage, and this would give him a height advantage. Now another thing that is important is what is called line of sight. Let's say that I wanted to attack this person here, and I had the dragon over here somewhere. What you have to do is you have to look behind the dragon to make sure that he can see this person. There may be somebody in his way, and if there is somebody in his way, or this person is obscured by, say, a tile or something like that, then the dragon's not going to be able to attack him. He'll only be able to attack him if he can see him. And another thing is that each of these characters here will have a red shade on them. What this basically means is if the dragon in this case can see this part of their bodies, then he will be able to attack them with his fire. Now when you're moving characters that have that take up 2 spaces like this, basically what you're going to do is you're going to just do like 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then set the back down. If you want to turn like this, that's also going to count as 1. So anyway, that's basically how the game works. Each person is going to continue going. They're going to be fighting with the dice, using their secret weapons, their secret powers. And depending on whatever the rules of the game is, that person is going to win once they are able to meet the different victory conditions, depending on the game that you have set. And that, folks, is Heroscape. So my final thoughts on Heroscape. Well, I gotta tell you, I absolutely think this is a cool game. This is a great game. Absolutely love the way you can build your own battlefield, the different terrain tiles that you have. You can set your own rules, and if you've seen some of the pictures that were done at some of these cons of people that have combined all of the different master sets and the expansions, you can have an absolutely massive battlefield, and it's quite a sight to behold when you see these pictures. And I'll put a few up after I do my little review. But I definitely like the fact that you've got all these different characters that have different abilities. Some of the characters can fly, some of them have grenades that they can launch. I actually have a character that can actually regenerate another character in his squad if he's able to roll a certain number. Just a bunch of different things in this game, and that really adds to the replayability. Now, there are a ton of expansions, and there's a few other master sets that you can get that have different types of tiles and different types of terrain. They have swamp tiles, they got lava tiles, they got snow tiles, they got glaciers, they got trees, they've got bridges, they've got buildings, and they have so much that you can get with this game. Now, I would definitely recommend getting this game if you find it somewhere at a thrift store. Now, when I found my copy, I found it at a thrift store, but it wasn't complete. It was more of a parts copy. So what I ended up doing is I went on eBay and I found another copy that had all the other parts in it, so I went ahead and got it. So I basically have 1.5 of Heroscape Rise of the Valkyrie games here. But it's definitely a really cool game. If you're a fan of Warhammer or any of those miniatures games, highly would recommend this game. The fact that you can build your own terrain, build your own battlefield, tons of the different characters that you can get in this game, either with this one, since this one comes with 30, and they can get them in a squad, whatever you want to do. There's just so much that you can do with this game. It's definitely got a high replay value. The miniatures look beautiful. The terrain tiles are really, really nice. And then just as you continue to buy more things for this game with the expansions, you can add trees and bushes, and just to make the landscape look really, really nice. So definitely a really cool game. I'd highly recommend getting it. Unfortunately, these games tend to cost a pretty penny. This master set, I believe, is the cheapest one out of the bunch. The other ones typically go, just depends, around $75 to $200 or so. A lot of people just sell the parts. I think you can probably get this one for maybe, I've seen it go for anywhere between 50 to 80 bucks. So I would definitely recommend getting it. So guys, that's my review of Heroscape. I'll see you later. Take care. Keep on gaming.